What other projects you working on right now?
Well, I have a bunch of things. I'm spinning plates like crazy, like a few TV show ideas and a movie idea and a bunch of wild stuff. I don't know if you want to talk. We can't talk.
Because you're supposed to be writing a movie for me, motherfucker.
Right.
Is that what we talking about or some other shit?
I mean, I don't know. Is that what you want me to talk
I'm
about?
going to talk about other shit, and I done got you doing my movie. Now you talking about some other shit. What the fuck is going on?
Well, you asked like you didn't know. I didn't know if it was a secret or what.
No goddamn secret. This is my show. Talk about it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we'd like to welcome you inside the GGN News Network. I'm your host with the most, Finding Nemo, a.k.a. Nemo Hose. And on my show today, got a real special guest. Goes by the name of Tony Hinchcliffe. I had to look down to see how to say the nigga name the right way at the end. Tony Hinchcliffe, the comedian / writer. What's up, T?
How's it going, Snoop? Good
How
to
you
see
doing, man? Always good to see you, man.
Chilling, smoking a blunt. Life is good.
In a real way. For those who don't know, Tony was on my roast that we did on Fusion TV with Russell Simmons, and he was the one who stole the show. He was the comedian that did the most on the coast that night. He shocked everybody and did his thing. So I want to say that first and foremost. You did a great job on the roast that night, behind the scenes and in front of the camera.
Well, I had the time of my life, man. I mean, I've been bagging on people since I was a little kid and grew up in the hood and literally, in Youngstown, Ohio, a tough neighborhood. So to get the chance to make fun of Snoop Dogg, I mean, it's like that's the pinnacle of making fun of people.
You did that.
Because you're a legendary roaster. I've worked with Jeff Ross and, Don Rickles is like a god to us, and you're one of the great roasters in all of entertainment. Every time we always know that you're gonna fucking come through and absolutely kill it on those Comedy Central roasts, and so for you to have a roast and to get to be part of it was a huge honor.
That's dope. It's dope that you said Don Rickles. I had to sit down with him. Me and him was at Mr. Child's doing a one-on-one, and just picking his brain, man. He's very clever, man. That's a hell of a guy right there.
Oh,
man.
he's the best, man. Absolutely legendary. Goes
Start
out
to
in
finish.
goes out in Vegas and still does it. Just absolutely murders.
Mm-hmm. So you started in the belly room at the Comedy Store?
Actually, no. My first spot ever was in the original room because I signed up for the open mic. In May, it's going to be 10 years of me going there to start. Started in that room, and then I chiseled it out in the belly room. That's like a developmental room upstairs. Which doesn't have the same size audience, a smaller, more intimate feel, but you can really like figure yourself out and whatnot. So yeah, over years of working there and doing all that, I did that a lot. That whole Comedy Store is insane.
It is.
It's got 3 big rooms, so you could do 3 spots a night, and then they could have 2 shows in those rooms, and you could do 6.
Do Pauly Shore people still own that?
Pauly Shore, yeah. Pauly's mom, Mitzi Shore.
What about, who were some of your influences growing up before you started doing comedy?
Man, I mean, as far back as I can remember, like when I was a kid, Jim Carrey was just coming out. So you had like, In Living Color and, Letterman I always really liked, even though I was young. But when Jim Carrey made that Man on the Moon movie about Andy Kaufman, I was in between my 8th grade and freshman year of high school, and that shit hit me hard. Like there was something, because I didn't know anything about Andy Kaufman going into it. I just knew, this goofball Jim Carrey is playing this silly role, but it ended up being a gateway to like how crazy Andy Kaufman was, which at the time I was really, really into, like an unorthodox artistic performance. So even though that's not really my style, Andy Kaufman, through Man on the Moon, through Jim Carrey, was like a really big, crazy thing because it changed everything. Because all of a sudden, I'm like, I realized that guy, the kid that was bagging on people to be able to make friends and get along and impress people, could do it for a living.
It shows you the vision that you was looking for, the confirmation. How'd you get involved with the roast with Jeff Ross?
It's because once I was at the Comedy Store for a couple of years, not even a couple of years, soon in, like a year in, I started hosting the open mics there, like, which is an appointed position from the person that learned how to do it from Mitzi Shore, blah, 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 blah. So it's like all run by the same lady forever. So it's the same system. And hosting that show, you end up bringing up like 40, 50 comedians on a Monday night. So I would make fun of everybody in between, before and especially after. Like if whatever they were wearing, you know, even if they killed, I'd be like, you know, one more time for them. They murdered. Too bad they're, you know, dressed like a blah, 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 whatever. And one night, Jeff Ross came up to me, and which, you know, I was just, as a guy that makes fun of people, there's only so many people you can look up to. And Jeff Ross is one of them. And he came up to me on the front patio one night, literally right after I had talked with somebody about, man, how I would love to work on those roasts and write on that, how hard I'd kill it. And he's like, hey, are you the guy that's been hosting the open mics, making fun of people? And I'm like, yeah, and we got it all together, and I helped him work on the Friars Club roast of Quentin Tarantino. It was the very first.
That's the first one in which your pen was put into effect?
Yep. And I remember I had just enough money for like the coffee that got me through that writing session. Seriously. I was living with 3 other comedians in a studio apartment at the time. But I knew that that was going to legitimately be the first part of work.
Shout out to Jeff Ross for giving you the opportunity, giving you a shot.
Well, I still had to use the sword too, and some of the bad jokes, instead of just throwing them away, I just sliced through them with a sword. Man, this blunt is effective.
Isn't it? So as a comedian, because as a rapper, our catalog is key. But as a comedian, how can you use your catalog when you're supposed to be creating daily, so to speak? Or am I saying it wrong?
Here, I totally know what you're saying. There's a huge difference in musicians and comedians in that musicians, you know, you get to, and you know, sometimes you probably love it, and sometimes it's probably annoying that like you have hits that people will be disappointed if you don't play. Whereas in stand-up, it's really the total opposite, where it's like if you see somebody, I mean, some people say that they'd like to, you know, see some things again, but it doesn't really work that way with stand-up, where they'll be like, oh, they're doing the same joke as that thing. It'd be great to be able to just bust out, you know that you can close it with that banger.
That everybody's gonna love.
And what ends up happening, there's one guy that I know that does it and pulls it off, and that's Jim Gaffigan. He's the Hot Pockets guy, right? I can't even remember, but yeah. And during his like shows at the end, he'll just fucking do it, because it's like the most killer shit ever that all of his people know him by.
When I went to go see Rudy Ray Moore perform for the first time, he did all his classic shit. He didn't do nothing new. And that shit was dope as fuck. He did the Signifying Monkey. He did Sean and the Great Titanic. I mean, the shit he did Dolomite, he did the Human Tornado. He did shit that was so dope and so classic that sometimes I wish that more comedians would do that. You know, shit that you know that works, that has worked. Like, put an all-star package show together and do your shit based on things that people love from you already. Not saying that you're not gonna do anything new, but it's just like a performer when we perform it.
Oh yeah.
Is there anybody that you wanna work with, like as far as with your writing, that you feel like if I had an opportunity to work with this comedian, I could really give him a
You mean is there a comedian who I wish like I could work with and help out? Like I have visions for that comedian, you mean? Or
No, I'm just saying like somebody that's hot right now, like I always think if it's a young artist and he hot and I like him, I reach out to him and I try to work with him. How is that in the comedy world if it's somebody that's young and fly and dynamic?
Well, I actually do this crazy podcast every Monday at the Comedy Store where it's a big live show, big sold out show. We just did episode 200 on Monday. But the point is like we pull names out of a bucket and you get to see a comedian, like over 70 people that signed up for like an open mic basically, you pull a name out of a bucket and they come up and do 60 seconds of stage time. And then they are immediately interviewed by me and 2 guests, which are always great, freakish comedians. I'm very, very lucky. I get to work with all my favorite heroes coming up. On this episode, specifically on Monday, I had Dave Attell and Ron White. Cold-blooded assassins. Ron White's my mom's favorite comedian. Dave Attell is just an absolute continuous machine. And they're both cold-blooded killers. So I get to sit next to people like that and,
And get that game.
Exactly.
Be a sponge and soak up all that game for free.
And they're doing my show, and so my point is like not only do I get to see them give back and the advice and all of us, it's all a cool thing because even if it goes bad, even if the random comedian that gets pulled out of the bucket, that signed up to do 60 seconds in front of us, so I have like my finger on the pulse in a weird way with the, bottom workings of who's coming up in LA. And for example, like this last episode, we found a freak, man. We found like the new Eddie Murphy.
For real?
Or at least for 60 seconds he was. Ron White immediately gave him an opening spot, straight out of getting pulled out of a bucket. Gave him a spot on his big theater show on Friday in Anaheim at the Grove.
We're gonna see what he do.
Show.
Let's see
Crazy.
what he do.
Yeah. But it's cool. And that's sort of like where I find myself giving back to like young comics is they get an opportunity to get seen by some of their favorite comedians, and get advice on a show, and it's
possibly
cool.
get an opportunity.
Yeah.
Based off of their performance.
Exactly.
That's a good thing.
And who knows what that guy can get from that 10-minute spot on Friday? Who might be in that audience or whatever.
Hi, I'm Stormy Fronts, bringing your weather today. Titty to titty, city to city. I'm in Tata Creek, Canada today, and it is so hot. I think that with the weather today, there's so many activities we can do in Tata, Canada. Like maybe go for a sweaty run together and then get clean after in my shower, because that's what we should do.
Talk about the movie that we doing together.
We're making a movie, me, you, my buddy Jerron, we are throwing together. You had a great idea, the root of an idea about a comedian who goes through prison time and ends up, being able to live his dreams, which he didn't even know were his dreams at the time, of being a stand-up comedian, and, it's going to be a funny drama. Powerful on both ends.
Yeah, it's very well.
I don't know how much you want to give away. It's
No,
a
that's
movie.
dope. That's enough. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause, nigga be there stolen our idea, and we'll be watching our movie come out with some low budget motherfucker, but we're not gonna do that. But you got enough of the idea right there. Know that we gonna do it. It's coming to a hood near you. You like sports, Tom?
I love sports.
What's your favorite sport?
I'm really big into UFC, college football, a little bit of boxing.
Did you see
now.
Dana White just left?
Yeah, he's my buddy.
Oh, you know Dana?
Yeah, I worked with him. I taught him how to. I was his stand-up comedy mentor during his. He was taping a show called Dana White Looking for a Fight. It's his big YouTube series that he has. It's awesome.
He's a great guy, man. Dana's a great fucking guy.
Yeah, he's the coolest, man. He's like a modern-day Vince McMahon.
That's what I asked him.
And he just has all the real players. Because if you look at what Vince McMahon did, that's the craziest shit ever. That guy's selling out arenas 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week for the last few decades. I was at the UFC the other day, and it made me think of the WWE. Because I'm like, wow, this is their 209. And you see how big the sport is. It's huge.
Globally.
But that made me think of Vince McMahon again. I'm like, good God.
Vince McMahon eating. He got Monday Night Raw. He got
Yep.
this. He got that. They even got the WWE channel now.
Yep, network.
Yeah, hello.
And he's still got the pay-per-views.
Shout out to Vince McMahon for
Shout
putting
out
me
to
in
you,
the WWE Hall of Fame.
That's huge. Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
And your cousin Sasha Banks killing it.
She doing her thing, man. You know who I met backstage one time at a WWE fight? Motherfucking Pee Wee Herman. I ain't lying. That motherfucker walked clean in there with the same suit on.
Was he with the red tie and
He just
everything?
was a little fatter. He was like, Pee Wee, you just had a few waffles, huh?
He's not in the Pee Wee League anymore. He's all grown up.
Yeah, Pee Wee came in and hollered at the old dog at the WWE, man, for real though.
Pee Wee Herman eating too many tuna salad sandwiches at the river.
You seen the people that you went to school with from back in the day? You see them now?
Yeah, I was hanging out with them recently. They finally saved up enough money to come visit me. And they're like cutting lawns at cemeteries and shit for jobs. They just never. And it's so weird because I can't connect with them really. So I'm like, yeah, it's like when you're driving around a tombstone and, so. But yeah, I was hanging out with them. They came and visited me and we were hanging out outside and a bird shit in my mouth.
For real?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
When I was laughing too. Like I was enjoying myself so much that just for a second I was like, what the fuck? Like because you don't know a bird shit in your mouth right away.
No.
You just feel something fall in your mouth because your eyes are closed on that laugh. Not many people ever get the chance to laugh like a young king.
We inside the Smoker Studio, AKA Everyday People, real nigga shit. I'm gonna ask you some questions and you can answer to the best of your ability. What's the first thing you do or think of when you wake up?
What am I gonna get done that day?
Hot or cold?
Hot or cold? Hot.
Tacos or burgers?
Burgers.
Ass or titties?
Ass.
What are your favorite pair of shoes of all time?
Actually, the ones I'm wearing right now. These Onitsuka Tiger, Bruce Lee.
Boxing shoes.
They're actually wrestling shoes, but they're not even that. They're the only pair of Onitsuka Tigers, this Bruce Lee wrestling model, that looks like wrestling shoes, but it's an actual shoe. It's the most ninja-ass shoe in the world, and they're very hard to find on the internet. So please don't try to buy any pairs, or if you do, please just buy them and send it to me. They're extremely hard to find, and I could really use your help.
NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Backstreet Boys. No hesitation. I was just in Vegas. Oh, this past weekend. And I guess they have a residency there, or they're just doing shows there this weekend. And my God, the murmurs of the Backstreet Boys, the people that are so excited to go to this concert. It's unbelievable. It's worth it just for that.
Yeah.
People are just so happy. It's hilarious.
They the shit. That's that era, man. You know, that never die. It was a moment in time. How many times a day do you think about sex?
Probably a few.
What's the worst job you've ever had?
There were worse jobs, but once I realized I was gonna do stand-up comedy, I was working as a waiter at a restaurant, a little Italian restaurant called Luis's Trattoria, and I would go out back during I worked lunches so that I could do stand-up at night. Like I was already doing stand-up, and I realized like, fuck, I can't do this restaurant daytime shit. Because like I'd literally have to get people's shit and like they'd have attitudes and stuff.
Yeah, like, hey man, help me get my shit.
Because everybody in this area thought they were the most important business person having their business lunch, and they thought they were in the biggest hurry. Like, oh, I need my check now. You know what I mean? So it was just a horrible, horrible thing. So sometimes I would just go to the back and cry for like 2 minutes and then come back in.
Get that shit out. He going through some things. Captain Crunch or Fruit Loops?
Fruit Loops all the way.
Fruit Loops?
Yeah.
Toucan Sam?
Yeah.
If you could remake any movie and star in it, what would it be?
I'd want to be the Joker. I don't know which one, but I want to be the Joker at some point.
The Joker in Suicide Squad or Joker in Batman?
Batman. Like maybe even Heath Ledger's or, Jack Nicholson's.
Yeah, his was the shit.
Yeah, I'd love to have his.
If you could be a character in a video game, what type of game would it be?
Oh man, I'd love to. I could play Mario Kart all day. I could go around in circles.
So you would be Mario?
Any video game character of all time. Yeah, I guess I'll go with Mario.
If you were stuck on an island for a year and could only listen to 3 albums, what would they be?
I'd have to go with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. I'd go with the soundtrack from Pulp Fiction, and I'd go with something live in order to be able to feel like I was in a social setting, get the vibes of real human beings. So I'd get some album from live, maybe like a Woodstock or like a live performance where you can hear the audience getting into it. Because if you're stuck out there on an island all by yourself, you end up going crazy. I mean, look, Tom Hanks talked to a soccer ball.
Castaway.
That shit was real.
He's chopping it up with the soccer ball. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
I would go back in time, man. I just want to watch stuff and then be able to eventually come back And
Like right
off
before
of-
shit blow up, be like, okay, all right, I had enough. Get me out of here.
Yep.
This is called finish the sentence. I'm gonna start as you finish it. I always wake up.
I always wake up and figure it out.
Thank you. If I could work with anybody dead or alive, I'd want to work with
I'll go with Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman. If I could see anybody perform dead or alive, I'd want to see.
I'm stoned to the gullets right now. I'm so high my head.
So you
could
don't know the
explode.
question I just asked you?
If I could work with anybody dead or alive.
No, you answered that. Then I went to the next question. I said, if I could see anybody perform dead or alive, I'd want to see.
Gotcha. I wouldn't mind just seeing a chill, regular old school, but seeing it in person, like Frank Sinatra in Vegas before going out and having a fun night, that sounds like a killer show.
That's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we'd like to thank our special guest, the talented Tony Hinchcliffe, for stopping by on the GGN today. Tony is in the pursuit of happiness, writing my new movie called Doing Time, coming to a hood near you. Tony, let them know where they can find you in case they're looking for you.
I'm at the Comedy Store performing on the road, tour dates every weekend, going out, doing big, crazy, hour-long plus sets of all new stuff that's not on my Netflix special called One Shot, and doing my podcast every Monday out of the Comedy Store, 8 p.m.
And where could they find you on the social media platforms?
I'm Tony Hinchcliffe on everything. TonyHinchcliffe. I know those answers.
Yeah, exactly, because see, the simple fact is that a lot of niggas didn't even know how to spell that when you said your name.
Yep.
You said Hinchcliffe.
H
I
plus
could see
inch.
how somebody was gonna spell it. H-E-N-C-T-C-L-F.
Yep.
Hinchcliffe. That's the way the hood gonna spell it.